Hello and welcome back to Velvet Roads. Today I'm going to be taking you through what I got at the Master Gardener sale here in town. The last 2 years that I've been doing my garden, I haven't been starting any seeds. I've just been getting them from the Master Gardener sale and at the local stores around here. So this morning, my 10-year-old went with me. We stood in line. There was quite a large line actually, and it took maybe a half hour to get in the doors, and then we loaded up our cart. I ended up spending a little bit more than I normally would have. This year they didn't have any smaller size starts. They were all like really large in 1-gallon containers. So quite mature for a start. Usually I like to get the smaller starts just so they can get a little bit more established before the hot weather. But I'm going to take you through and show you what I got.
Are you getting squash, Mom?
Yes, Waltham. Okay, so what was your pick, Earl?
My pick was...
So the first few things that I got were tomatoes, some Roma tomatoes. I wanted to make sure that they were determinate so that they didn't take up a ton of space. All right, so the first one I got is the Early Girl Hybrid. This is the Roma tomato. It's the Cherokee Purple. And then here's another Roma tomato over here. I also got a chocolate cherry one because I love the chocolate cherry tomatoes. I got one tomatillo. I didn't end up using my tomatillos right away last year. I got like 3 or 4 tomatillo plants last year, and quite a few of them I left on to get ripe at the end of the season, and they ended up getting really moldy, so I didn't get to use them. So I just got one to make sure that I use it. I let Earl pick out a flower, and he picked out the straw flower, which I'm so excited about because I planted starts last year I planted seeds several times last year of the straw flower, and none of them came up. So hopefully that will work. And then I got a few winter squash mixes. I got a sugar squash, Waltham squash, Waltham butternut, yep. And then I think there's a delicata in here, yep. And so I got those. I got a creeping flower to put in one of the flower beds, and then I got some shishito peppers and a jalapeno pepper and 2 basils. Because I have a lot of my cool weather crops in my garden right now, I haven't even started seeds for my cucumbers or my basils or anything like that, my zucchini. And I'll take you through my beds so far. They look so pretty. All right, so here's my pear tree. It is filling out rather nicely. I noticed I have a little pear growing on here right there. I'm so excited about it. Even if it's just one pear this year, it is bearing fruit, so that is a good sign. Then I've got my comfrey in full bloom here. I've got a ton of blueberries on my bushes here in the front of the house, so that's exciting. And my rosemary. My sage came back nicely. I've got some hollyhocks growing up. And then this is my Rose of Sharon filling out. It'll bloom towards the end of the summer. My echinacea is doing great. It is spreading, so I will eventually have to move some of that. My lemon thyme I transplanted over here at the end of the season last year, and it is loving life, so I will just leave it here. It is a perennial, so I'll just make sure that it's happy at the end of the season. And then I did plant something here. I don't remember what I planted. It might be a marigold. It also could be a zinnia. So stay tuned to see what that is. My calendula is just bumping away over here. I just think calendula is so pretty. It's just so gorgeous. My butterfly bush over here is just gigantic. Oh, look, there's a peanut shell in my butterfly bush. Oh my word. We have so many squirrels around here. My roses are coming in nicely. And then my lavender is really doing good this year. I cut it way back last year, so I'm glad it's coming back. In this bed, I've got cabbage and then kale. I've got 3 different kales in this one. I've got a couple different varieties of cauliflower. And then here are some broccoli. The boys and I went through and hunted a bunch of those cabbage butterfly moths, or cabbage moth, whatever. They're baby little caterpillars. Here is my chamomile. It always comes back in this bed just because of flowers that I let go. So that's exciting. Chamomile makes me happy to look at, so it is coming in really nicely. And then I've got a few different cabbages here. I've got some butter crunch lettuce, which I'm so excited about. We've got some cauliflower and some cabbage. I think that's the cauliflower over there. And then I also planted some lettuce seeds with the starts, so those are finally starting to come up. So excited about that. This is a garlic that actually got forgotten. It was so small, it didn't make it last year, so now it's coming up. It's doing good. My hops is doing amazing. I just got this trellis last weekend that I put in here. So this is my Golden Globe oregano. And then I put this trellis in last weekend to see if my hops will grow on this and fill it out, which it's doing pretty nicely. We've got some onions here popping up that I'm going to need to cut back here pretty soon. And then potatoes and onions on the end. Here we've also have onions growing. These are purple cauliflower, I believe. Some potatoes that are volunteers from last year. And I don't think that those are doing very well. Those are some cauliflower there. And then our beautiful garlic chives on full bloom. We've got some regular onions down here also. These are broccolis. They don't look like they're doing super hot. We've got a volunteer tomato coming up right there. And I did plant some things over here, kohlrabi and beets and such. I think this bed might be too hot for them though. My sage coming back and blooming, which is going to be really pretty when it's in full bloom. And then we've got cauliflower, we've got lettuce, and this is my favorite calendula that I have. I think it's called Zoo Lights, but it's like this creamy blush color. And then I've got dill popping up here, romaine lettuce, cauliflower again, cauliflower, romaine, and then purple cabbage on the end. We've got some volunteer potatoes coming up here, actually doing really well. And then a white echinacea that's coming up right here on the end. This is my favorite bed. This is our lavender. This is like a perennial bed. Lavender. I've got a dahlia popping up here from last year. And my creeping thyme, as well as a stevia popping up right there. This is where I planted my jalapenos, my 2 Roma tomatoes, and my basil, as well as my shishitos. I planted another tomato here with a squash and the cherry tomato. And then I planted another tomato here along with a squash and another squash. My potatoes are doing awesome. So awesome.
green stock. But I have some mint and lemon balm and some more mint. I have a ton of spit bugs this year. If anyone knows the remedy for that, let me know. Some lemon balm. And then this is the licorice mint. Over here, this is the little bed area that I made last year. Hostas look so good because the chickens didn't get into them this year. And then I have some lemon bergamot here and 2 hostas. And I did plant some feverfew here also. And then along the fence line here, I got some yellow raspberries last year. And I don't know why these are like this. That's sad. They came back nicely. I've got one here, and then I've got a couple here that came back. Oh, looks like something jumped onto it. A cat, maybe? A child? That's a bummer. And then my feverfew is growing nice and tall. Like, look at how big, look at how tall that feverfew is. It's so big. And then I've got oregano right here. And my yarrow. And I have a ton of apples on my tree this year. I am so excited about it. Like, look at all those little apples back there. All of them. Everywhere. My mint is going crazy right now. That's mint right there. And then my rhubarb. Like, look at all those apples. Apples, apples, apples. So cool. And then I've got more raspberries over here. My grapes are coming in nicely. This is my black currant here. And it is just booming. And I've got a ton of berries on my black currant. I don't know if, oh, there's a birdie trying to eat my food. But yeah, I have a lot of blossoms for my grapes right now. Ton of raspberries. Ton. I also have quite a few cherries on the tree this year, which is really exciting because the last couple years we haven't gotten anything. So like you can see them right there. And then some more grapes growing up over here. Pretty soon I'll be able to train them over the fence. Out here is alleyway. My Spanish lavender does not look like it's doing very good, so I'm gonna have to replace that this year. But this one's doing great. This is a normal English lavender. I have another English lavender here with some creeping thyme here at the bottom. And I have raspberries popping up everywhere in the alleyway. This is one of my favorite flowers and I want to get some more of them. This is the Mediterranean garlic. and it flowers so beautifully. You can see all these little flowers that open up. The hummingbirds love it. And it comes up on big giant stalks like that. Sometimes, yeah, see, it opens up like a little trumpet type thing. And then some more raspberries here. I think those ones are yellow raspberries or golden raspberries. And then on this side, I've got these raspberries going crazy. I did not trim them back. I have a ton of fruit on these ones in the alleyway. And both of these tires here used to be full of calendula. Now they're full of raspberries. And then this is just loaded. You can just see all those berries on there. That is the garden so far. I'm excited because it's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Thanks for joining, and until next time.